So Foodie Beauty did like a proof of life stream, basically. I'm here, but the power keeps going out, and I'm sitting here in the dark. And apparently, we don't own any candles or lanterns. Just even the basic shit. They also don't have dishes or silverware in this location either. I mean, what can we expect? They're in Syria, and they couldn't own. She couldn't own this in Canada. She couldn't own this in Kuwait. So why would I expect that she would somehow have the relevant supplies to live life in Syria? So I don't know if she's still going or not. She might be. I know she was trying to go all the way until daybreak because apparently then they turn on the electricity fully and she can sleep with the fan on. Now, if YouTube was my livelihood, I would try and reverse that. Figure out how to sleep at night when it's cooler, Chantel, and then use your daylight hours to actually do your streaming and your cameos and everything else that you need to actually earn money because you're clearly struggling quite a bit. She and Salah are bickering about who has been complaining more. They both have big reasons to complain. I mean, she's a complainer, just period, right? Constantly complaining about petty shit. He is a complainer at this point because she uprooted his entire life, everything that he had, everything that he knew. He had to flee from the country he was born in and go to a war torn country. And then she insisted that she needed to be there with him, causing him even more stress. So, what happens if you actually do have an attack that comes in and you guys need to get to a shelter? You gonna slow him down, girl? You gonna slow him down, Chantel? The refrigerator doesn't work, is what they're saying. But I have a feeling the refrigerator doesn't work because it doesn't run electricity at all times of the day. So you can't keep your food at a constant cold temperature if you're constantly losing electricity every day, right? That's just not going to happen. She went to some sort of um, park picnic with Salah that was his friends, she claimed, but then later claimed that one of those friends was somebody who lived in the building. So I have a feeling that their friends group right now is limited to the residents of the building that they live in. She has been there since Tuesday. She got there on Tuesday, right? And she heard a gunshot 50 meters away from their car when they were getting in it, or their location, something like that. And it was reported on the news. So she was able to verify that there was a shooting nearby. If this is a party for the residents of this building, then the park was probably pretty close by, right? During the live stream, she heard a second shooting. But she tries to compare this to random acts of violence in America, such as, the school shooters, which is pretty rare. It's a pretty rare occasion that that happens. Or maybe she was comparing it to like gang violence. Who knows? But it's when you compare the size of our population and the amount of violence that we have to a war torn nation, there's no comparison. And there has never been a time in my life that I have ever heard two shootings within a couple days of each other, or within a day of each other, it sounds like. So it sounds like tensions in the area where she's living right now are heightening. She did start saying she's not going to stay there forever. She needs to move around, blah, blah, blah. But she also said that Julia needs a more steady place to live. Which is it, girl? You can't travel with a cat around the world. A dog, maybe. Like a dog, maybe. But probably a small dog because you still have to put them in a carrier and they got to be able to fit under the seat in front of you. I got Sally out here, so if she barks, I might have to handle that situation because the dog walkers are out. You know what I mean? That's the only. She she does not. She's not bothered by fireworks. She's bothered by dog walkers. That's all that she cares about. Um, I didn't see anything good on Local Universe today. Not worthy of coverage, in my opinion. Um, so I'm not even going to bother with that bullshit. Not even going to bother with it. But Garlic Bread already has done a partial recap. The only thing, did you hear that? That was a firework. She's sitting there. She doesn't care. She does not care about the fireworks, you guys. Does not care about the fireworks. She's sniffing up in the air right now to detect dog walkers. That's her tell. So I guess she's trying to shame us all for not going to Syria and trying to rough it. The people who live in Syria live there because it was their home country. They went through a war. They're trying to rebuild their lives. They've lost loved ones during this war. And she's so insensitive to this shit. When she was talking about the shooting, she went into nervous giggles. I think that, to me, I'm not a therapist. I have no medical degrees or anything like that. But to me, what it says when somebody tries to nervously laugh off something very serious, um, they want to change reality. They want the reality changed of how can I best spin this so that I feel comfortable and so I can make my audience feel comfortable. Because right now it sucks ass, right? It fucking sucks ass. And she can't really say that because she's not even probably supposed to be live streaming at this point. And people in her chat keep telling her that. You don't know what the laws are because they haven't determined what the laws are yet. Like, they don't have a fully functioning government yet. So you could get in trouble for anything. And if you're out there live streaming, you best be careful, right? She has been very careful not to say anything negative about the government, to praise the armed soldiers who she assumes are military police belonging to the government. Do we know? Do we know who's that? Do we know who these armed people are on the streets? Are they part of the new government or are they part of a different group? And if there's this much gunfire over the last day, is it possible that the Civil War isn't really over? I'm just saying, you know. Maybe you should have looked into this a little bit further before deciding to. I must have my husband's peen, which I doubt that they're even doing anything like that. Like, if they were a normal couple that realized that they were not sexually interested in each other, but for religious reasons they wanted to stay together, they would be sleeping in separate bedrooms and just doing social events together, like going to church together. Well, in this case, it'd be a mosque. But neither of them actually attend any religious services ever. Neither of them seem to ever pray. I guess she was given some sort of prayer beads and said that they're the first she's ever owned. She grew up Catholic and also went to a private Catholic school, right? So her lore says. If that's the case, how did she never own a rosary? How is that possible? You never owned a rosary, girl? They never made you do the stages? I've had to do it. It was part of my catechism. It was part of what I had to do with my family to appease them. I just don't understand how were your was your family only Catholic in name? Sally doesn't like our neighbors because they wake up in the middle of the night and scream at each other. They scream at each other, and they have a young baby. So let me take care of her real quick. Hold up. Come here, baby. No, you gotta go back inside. You're gonna have to go back inside. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Sorry for the delay, you guys. Oh, my goodness. Wow. So, she's already saying that she wants to go somewhere else ultimately. Where? Where do you want to go? You want to go to South America? That would be very interesting for Neo Tarot's latest reading. If you haven't checked that out, you can either check her out directly or you can check my commentary on it, which I did Thursday. I did it Thursday because I didn't do any real content on July 4th. I was busy, you guys. I hope you guys were all busy too. That we were celebrating with friends and family, doing our cookouts, having a good time. not letting, these sorts of weirdos into our headspace on our national holiday. I certainly did not want to have LCU type content swirling around my head on 4th of July because they have nothing at this point except for gossip. And whenever they don't cover gossip, they have an endless stream of begging. It's just e-begging. There's no point to it whatsoever. But I did try and watch a bit of Rewind tonight. Billy read a comment where somebody was asking who got fired. So I don't know if somebody got fired. Who knows? A whole slew of them should be fired. But they're not going to be because these are exactly the type of personalities that Keemstar wants in his universe. He wants a bunch of knuckleheads that he can bully. He wants that. So that's what we'll get is people who are easily manipulated and think that they're being empowered by being taught how to bully other people, right? Gidgy, the librarian who keeps coming in and shushing everybody and has her own laundry list of problems managing a show, but is going to everybody like she's the fucking expert. Trying to stretch out my back, you guys. So, today when I realized that the content sucked, um, I just started watching Dr. Pimple Popper. I used to be a cosmetologist and I did, just your standard, like, in salon sort of extractions of blackheads and things like that. But this is like surgical shit. This is surgical removal of large cysts, and there's some podiatry channels where they cut off abnormally large calluses. There was one channel that came up for me today that was cleaning out what looks like mud out of somebody's ear. Like, there was at no point that it looked like normal wax. It looked like fucking mud. And I'm not sure if I ever saw the eardrum at the end of that. I'm not sure that ever happened, you guys. But I've seen a bunch of weird ass shit online today because I've had to search for other forms of entertainment. Anyhow, so Chantel, you in danger, girl. You need to leave. She's like, we're preparing his house. So he has some sort of family home, I guess, that they've given him. It's probably pretty small and it's in Syria. So it's like not worth much, right? This is this house is not worth a lot of money. Um, but they're going to put in some solar panels and whatever else they need to do. And um, why? Why are you going to prep this house up when you you can't stay there forever? She also is playing dumb about having to register with the government. She has to register within 15 days that she's there. If she doesn't, I don't know if there's consequences for her from this new regime that took over. But more importantly, Canada will have no verification that she's there and to look for her. They'll have no paper trail. So, anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic Saturday night. And hopefully the content will get better because it's pretty shit right now. Just saying. Take care, you guys.